them for me, you make them for yourselves and your children and your country. And I want to applaud and congratulate you. The second point I want to make is on the small matter of examinations, and I also want to thank you all, especially those who have gone an extra mile each year to ensure that our children have their examination results on time. Forget about the 0.001% who are rotten, whose job is to attempt to expose the exam when it comes from the container. But unfortunately, that is what people remember. So I would like to celebrate center managers, deputy center managers. Your own integrity has ensured that the president's wisdom in allowing us to do the exam we have been doing since 2016 has come to fruition. We have not taken it for granted. Number three, Your Excellency, there will only be four. Number three, I now want to turn to Your Excellency, and I don't praise people. That is the way I was created. But I would like to let the teachers know that I have been thoroughly privileged to serve you. Why? Because for those who have worked with you closely, you are straightforward, you give good orders, and they are one order, not one at night, not one during the day. So I've never had a situation where in public you pronounce and in the night you tell me go and do this. And I appreciate that. That actually has made you the Minister for Education. I'm just your agent. And most of the things they see me insisting on, the wisdom has come from you. What Indimuli does not know is that, for example, the Elimu Scholarship, your love for the poor urban minorities, you ordered me to ensure that a sizable number of those scholarships should go to the poor in the urban slums. People don't know this. And so I would not like to be president because you do your best and people don't care. Finally, Your Excellency, I would like to thank you before I invite you to come. This government, Indimuli has not said it with the weight that it deserves. This year, we have a budget of 544 billion Kenya shilling. That is 25.9%. And Indimuli is afraid to say that it is the first. I know the South African one, I know the Nigerian one, I know the Ugandan one. It is the first. And so, what is left for us who have the ability now to do the budget is to ensure that we get more from the budget. I am the first one who is guilty. Don't run away from it. You know that we have built classrooms at 788,000. And I also want to recognize many principals, Kapsabet girls, Kapsabet boys, and many others where I have been, where I have seen excellent work with a 6,000 portion of the 22,400. Do not even imagine that under my watch you will take that to another thing. Because I have seen infrastructural development that is beyond this world. And that is what is going to count. So can we agree and promise His Excellency the President before I invite him? I'm not accusing anybody that we should just get a little bit more for our money. A little bit more for our money. Because even if I was to go to cabinet to ask for 30%, the cabinet is made of 22 people. Which minister do you think is going to support me? No, you tell me. So let us be realistic. Let us look inwards and save money. In any case, don't accuse the president of not employing teachers. From when he took over, he has employed 120,000 teachers. What the hell do you want? 120,000 teachers. And even this year he's employing. So let us give to Caesar what belongs to him. Your Excellency, it is now my singular pleasure and pride to invite you to address your teachers, who are actually heroes and gallants, who have carried us through the transformation of the education system. Your Excellency.
Asante sana Prof. Tuketi, nashukuru. Gavana wa jimbo letu la Mombasa, Gavana Ali Hassan Joho, Rais wa chama cha Secondary School Heads Association, Mr. Imudili Kahe, viongozi wa the association, walimu kutoka sehemu mbalimbali ama heads kutoka sehemu mbalimbali za taifa letu, hamjambo. Hamjambo tena jameni. Walimu oye! Walimu oye! Wewe Gavana Joho, hata kama ni Ramadhani, kuna wengine hapa hata kama wewe umefunga tunaambiwa, inasemwa ya kwamba wakati unafunga, ukiwa unafunga na unaangalia wengine wakikula, hiyo maombi yako inaenda direct. Kwa hivyo chunga hii watu jameni, unasikia hii sauti yao bado iko chini. Labda ni njaa ndugu yangu. Walimu oye! Asanteni sana. Let me say that it is great to see you all again today, and I'm pleased really after a 2-year break due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we can finally once again meet in person. All of us, our education fraternity, the whole country has experienced widespread disruption in our lives during the last 2 years. And I am aware of the fact that even amongst this forum, you too have lost some of your members to the unfortunate coronavirus. I take this opportunity on my own behalf, on behalf of the government and people of Kenya, to convey to you all our heartfelt condolences, and to the families of members of this association, and in honor of all those from this association and the many other Kenyans who lost their lives during these 2 years of pandemic, I request all of you to be upstanding so that we observe a 1 minute of silence in their honor today. Asanteni sana. Ladies and gentlemen, our education sector was hard hit by the pandemic. Indeed, between March of 2020 and January of 2021, when our schools remained closed, the education process was disrupted, affecting about 17 million of our learners. But today, I am glad to note that despite the challenge, our teachers tirelessly facilitated learning during that period through a variety of measures such as radio broadcasts, online learning platforms, and group consultations. Indeed, today Kenya owes you a debt of gratitude for remaining true to your calling despite the disputed and disrupted learning environment and the adjusted school calendar. Indeed, throughout Kenya's history, teachers have continue to occupy a special place in the upbringing of our children. Teachers are builders of dreams, the crafters of careers, the discoverers of hidden talents, and the shining beacons that set a positive example within our local communities. Indeed, many decades after some of us have finished school, we still remember and treasure the teachers who contributed so much to making us who we are today. But let me say that never has the role of the teacher been as important as it is today as we recover from this COVID-19 disruptions. Despite government's efforts to keep pupils learning during the pandemic, many of them lost momentum, mainly because of poor learning environments. The pandemic, unfortunately, also widened education inequality and also led to an increase in teenage pregnancies as well as school dropout. Going forward, therefore, you, the teacher, must be a linchpin of the recovery process in this education sector, as well as in the overall social economic recovery journey. We are counting on you, our teachers, to help our learners recover the learning losses incurred during the pandemic and to ensure that all those who have dropped out get back to school, rebuild momentum on the education sector reforms that stalled during the pandemic, and more importantly, build on lessons learned during the pandemic to make our education sector that much more resilient. I am confident that you do not only have the capacity, but I also believe the will to rise to this challenge. And I am confident because I do believe that our teachers have proved to be amongst the finest in the world, considering only just 3 examples of teachers who have put Kenya on the global map. And allow me to mention today, once again, Peter Tabichi from Keriko Secondary School in Nakuru County, who emerged the winner of the Global Teacher Award in 2019. Mr. Eric Ademba, a teacher from Asumbi Girls Secondary School in Homa Bay County, who emerged the Continental Teacher of the Year in 2019, and the award organized by the African Union, while Jane Kimiti, the Chief Principal of Othaya Girls in Nyeri County, also scooped the same award in the year 2020. Tunawapongeza. This is just an example of the hard work that you head teachers put into ensuring the future of our children. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we note that the theme of this conference is re-examining our future together, a new era of education in Kenya. And I do believe that this is an appropriate theme because we are indeed at an inflection point, and we need to ensure that we do not lose the gains of the last 60 years. At the same time, the pandemic has also created opportunities for us to reimagine our education system and to transform it to meet future challenges. As we engage on the future of education, let us take a moment also to recall where we have come from. I am indeed proud of the gains that we have made in broadening access, especially in secondary education. Enrollment in our secondary schools has more than doubled, increasing from 1.3 million in the year 2008 to nearly 3.6 million in 2022. The 100% transition policy has ensured that all our learners who sit the KCPE examination obtain a place in a secondary school, and this has been a huge success. Since 2018, more than 90% of those who sat the KCPE transitioned to a secondary school. And it is notable that since day secondary education is free, over 70% of them are enrolled in our day schools. Second, to ensure that no child is left behind because of their social-economic background, my administration has increased capitation per child in secondary schools to Kenya shillings 22,244. Furthermore, support is provided to needy students through various scholarship programs. For example, the one that has just been mentioned today, the Elimu Scholarship Program, which provides bursaries for bright but needy students. The government has also, in partnership with Equity Group Foundation, awarded approximately 9,000 scholarships for the 2019 KCPE candidates and an additional 9,000 scholarships for the 2020 KCPE candidates who joined Form 1 in July of 2021. In addition, the JKF Scholarship Program has also benefited over 4,500 needy students since 2013. The third aspect is that we are also reforming our education system to make it fit for purpose in the 21st century. Following the recommendation of various task forces, my administration initiated the competency-based curriculum reforms in 2016. CBC seeks to, number one, identify and nurture every learner's potential. Secondly, to emphasize practical learning as opposed to theoretical teaching. Thirdly, to emphasize application of knowledge and acquisition of competencies as opposed to just routine memorization of content. Fourthly, to provide opportunities for acquisition of values and participation in community service learning. Fifth, to provide pathways and tracks in senior secondary school that are aligned to the broad abilities and career interests of learners. And lastly, to balance formative and summative assessments in all our training curricula. The rollout of the CBC curriculum is on course. And indeed, when schools reopen next week, we shall have more than 9 million learners under the CBC curriculum. The next point is that my administration has also progressively expanded education infrastructure to accommodate the growing environment. This includes classrooms, desks, and chairs, as well as electricity connectivity. Indeed, since 2013, over 90% of our schools have been connected to the national electricity grid, while some of our schools in off-grid areas have been provided with solar installations. In keeping with my pronouncement during the Mashujaa Day of 2021 regarding the building of an additional 10,000 classrooms to support the establishment of junior secondary schools, I am pleased to inform you that so far 6,470 classrooms are due for completion by the end of this month, and the remaining classrooms will be completed in the second phase of the program. Point number 5 is that we have also remained focused on education quality. My administration has provided free books to every child, and we as a country have now achieved a pupil-to-book ratio of 1 in all our public and secondary, primary and secondary schools. Indeed, recognizing the centrality of teachers in raising education quality, we have also invested in a robust teacher training program and provided the budgetary allocation for teachers, as raising it from Kenya shillings 116.4 billion in 2013 to Kenya shillings 288.6 billion in the current financial year. We have hired a total of 153,000 teachers since 2013 and institutionalized the internship program within the TSC, supported a transparent and accountable promotion system for teachers, and also introduced a comprehensive medical cover for all teachers and their dependents. We have also implemented reforms in the administration of our national exams, and today we can see the results of some of those reforms. Ladies and gentlemen, so to drive our education boldly into the 21st century, my administration initiated the Digital Learning Program in 2013, and through DLP, public primary schools receive teacher and learner digital devices, digital content servers, and wireless routers and projectors. A total of 21,717 out of 22,988 primary schools have been supplied with these digital devices. We seek to ensure that by the time the student gets into secondary school, they are digitally literate and can harness digital technologies to broaden their learning experience beyond their immediate learning environment. So, ladies and gentlemen, we can confidently and proudly say that with such strong education foundations, our future is secure. The heavy education investments are paying off. Indeed, our education system is today recognized as one of the best on the African continent, and our students obtain some of the highest scores in regional standardized tests, and indeed our young people are highly competitive in regional and global labor markets thanks to our efforts. As we reflect and embark on a new education era, we can use these foundations as a major springboard for the future. The world faces major global challenges, some that are of an existential nature. They include pandemics such as the one we are trying to emerge from, that is COVID-19, climate change and biodiversity loss, huge intra- and inter-country poverty and inequality, as well as major disruptions of peace and security. To successfully manage the uncertain future requires individuals who are adaptive and resilient, who can adeptly apply their knowledge to new situations, who sees crisis as opportunities for innovation, and who have a thirst for learning and growing throughout their lives. To equip our young people with these skills requires a major transformation of our education systems. This is a new education course that we need to chart, and it is my hope and expectation that you will together deliberate on this during this week. As I conclude my remarks, I want to once again reiterate that my administration recognizes the important role that teachers play in advancing our development agenda. And in this regard, Bwana Mwalimu, as we exit, and as Madaraka Day 2022 approaches, I look forward to awarding national honors to outstanding and transformative teachers from the education sector those who have distinguished themselves through superlative services to Kenya, and I therefore, through you, Bwana Chair, invite you to forward to the National Honors and Awards Committee, through the Cabinet Secretary for Education, suitable nominees for national honors and awards that will represent the very best of education in Kenya. Kwa hayo machache basi, mimi nawatakia nyote kila laheri. Tumefanya sisi kulingana na uwezo wetu. Haja yetu ni kuhakikisha ya kwamba tumeweka msingi wa kudumu na msingi ambao hauwezi kutingizika kwa watoto ambao ndio tuwaangalia kesho, wawe viongozi wetu, wawe wale ambao watasimamia various institutions, wale ambao watakuwa mawakili wetu, wale ambao watakuwa maengineer wetu, wale watakuwa walimu wetu, wale watakuwa madaktari, na wale pia, kwa sababu kwa muda mrefu tumefunza watoto yetu ya kwamba kufanya kazi na mikono ni kama ni kitu kibaya. Tunataka watoto wetu wajue ya kwamba ukiwa Mwenyezi Mungu amekubariki na kipawa cha kuwa welder mzuri, kukuwa plumber mzuri, kukuwa mkulima mzuri, all these are much needed efforts and services that a country that is developing requires. And we must start moving away from telling our children that the only job you can have is a white collar job, kuwa clerk kwa benki. Benki sasa zinaenda digital jameni. Leo hii kuna wakulima ambao wanatengeneza pesa hata kushinda nyinyi walimu, kushinda madaktari, kushinda maprofesa. Ama hamuelewi hiyo jameni? Leo hii, as we progress in shipbuilding, tunatafuta quality welders, na wale wachache ambao tuko nao wengi ni wazee ambao walifundishwa zamani, na hata wale ambao tumepartner na wao kwa sababu wanaona kazi ya hawa wazee, wanasema wakimaliza kujenga huko Kisumu na hapa Mombasa, wanajaribu kuapproach warudi na wao huko kwao kwa sababu ya quality ya service yao. These are paying jobs. This is where we need to take our children, to encourage our children. Use that gift that God has given you, whatever it is. That is the future. Naambianga wengi, angalia mabilionea hawa wakina Bill Gates na wengine, wali drop out of high school, na leo hii pesa ile wako nazo inashinda pesa ya Kenya tukijumuisha na ya Uganda, ya Tanzania, ya Rwanda, ya Burundi, na mtu hakumaliza high school. Tunaelewana wenzangu? So sio kusema tu ati ni hiyo. It is your responsibility to help our children eke out what is best in them, because God has given each and every one of us a gift. And you teachers are privileged to be the ones who are supposed to pull that gift out of that child and to make him use that gift to benefit himself, to grow society, to develop his country, to develop his continent, and to be proud of himself as a citizen of the Republic for the service that he delivers, whatever that service may be. Sini namna hiyo wenzangu? Sasa jameni, msiseme mimi nimewasaidia, mwaandika walimu, mshahara niliongeza, jameni mko na insurance. Pigeni kelele kwa wale ambao watakuja, lakini mimi mnipigie makofi kwa yale nimefanya. Ama ni namna gani jameni? Ama ni namna gani? Tumeset msingi, wengine wajenge. Lakini shida ya Kenya hii, na ndio naambia mfundishe watoto, shida ya siku hizi Kenya hii, kiongozi anajua ku identify problem lakini hana suluhu yake. So akiona kwa gazeti leo, unamuona kwa press conference, oh bei ya mahindi, oh bei ya mafuta. Sasa jameni, unatafuta uongozi, si kwanza utengeneze ile ambao uko naye. Unaenda kupiga nduru, unapiga nduru, why do you want to be a leader? Si uachie basi wale wanataka kufanya kazi waendelee. Ama ni namna gani? Msiniletee bana. This country needs problem solvers, not problem talkers. Kuongea, unaongea pale kwa soko, unalia. Sasa mwananchi anakuangalia anasema, sasa unataka mimi nifanye namna gani? Unataka mimi nifanye namna gani? We need people who are willing and committed to providing solutions, because problems will never end. Utalala leo ukifikiri umesuluhisha ya jana, uamuke upate ingine mbele yako. Tunaelewana wenzangu? That is the way of life. So let us teach our people to be problem solvers, to recognize that problems come, but our objective, our duty is to resolve those problems, not to groan about them, because they will always be there. They will always be there. Kwa hivyo wenzangu, mimi nasema Mungu awabariki kwa majadiliano mtakuwa naye, muongee vyema. Mimi nitaendelea kusukuma Joho ahakikishe amewapeleka lunch, hata kama anataka mimi nimsukumie kwa kitu kidogo nitamsukumia. So, with those few remarks, I thank you and I wish you all very fruitful deliberations. Mungu awabariki, Mungu awalinde, na Mungu alinde taifa letu la Kenya.
Asante, tupongeze tena Mheshimiwa Rais kwa makofi. Asante sana. Your Excellency, after the national anthem, Your Excellency, after the national anthem.
Well, that was President Uhuru Kenyatta, who was presiding over the 45th KESSHA annual conference, which has been ongoing. Today is the third day. It has been ongoing at the Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Hall in Mombasa, whereby the president has reiterated that his administration is committed to improving education in the country. We shall be bringing you more details in our subsequent bulletin. For now, we shall be taking a short break. Up next is Lunchtime News. Let's take that break.
legendary run to Olympia Stadion in Berlin is now less crowded, with only 4 teams out of 64 still in contention. Something more outstanding is that all of the sides to have won the DFB Pokal over the last 29 years are already out this year.
And Leverkusen are knocked out by a Bundesliga 2 side.
In the first DFB Pokal semi-final, Hamburger SV will face Freiburg on Tuesday, the 19th of April 2022 at 9:45 p.m. While in the second semi-final, RB Leipzig will lock horns with Union Berlin on Wednesday, the 20th April 2022 at 9:45 p.m. Having braced the turbulent journey and buoyed up with the trophy in sight, no team want to go down without a fight. You don't want to miss this adventurous football show, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Ili kupata mafuta kupanda kama skiza tune kwenye simu yako, bonyeza *811 397 hash.
Nashukuru serikali kwa kuongeza bei ya mafuta. Sasa niko kwa highway na kuna traffic hata kidogo. Naomba serikali iendelee hivyo, tubaki tu watu ya gasla na heavy machine peke yake. Pia mimi naomba huyu serikali waseme kama gari yako ni below 3000 cc, gari yako
ili kupata mafuta kupanda kama skiza tune, bonyeza *811 397 hash. *811 397 hash.
Sauti ya Kenya
92.9. Hii ni KBC Radio Taifa.
kila kitu maishani kina sauti yaleta furaha.
Radio.
Sauti ya elimisha, yahimiza, yatuleta pamoja. Sauti ya Kenya
Radio Taifa.
Sauti ya Kenya.
You don't know much about your son. He's so timid. He wouldn't do anything desperate.
What are you trying to say, huh?
Stop playing the sad card in front of me. What you did is unforgivable. You didn't even get half of what you deserve.
I heard it with my own ears. The woman who looks like Pinky was calling Mrs. Gao mom.
Ah, come on. You must have gotten it wrong. That's impossible.
What I lost was more than my daughter and a piece of land. It's also my 30 years of life.
Good afternoon. This is Lunchtime News. I trust you're having a lovely Wednesday, and my name is Jackie Mbiro. Our sign language interpreter is Byron Abule, and to kick us off this afternoon, we shall be taking a look at matters of politics, and we shall be crossing over to our reporter, who is Aiden, and he has been manning the ground whereby United Democratic Alliance is conducting party primaries for Isambu constituency and the 19 wards in Nairobi. Now let's link up with our reporter Aiden so that we can get an insight on what is happening on the ground. Aiden, kindly bring us to speed. Well, we shall be bringing you that report when our reporter is ready. For now, we move on. The National Council of Churches of Kenya, NCCK, in the northeastern region has urged politicians to conduct a peaceful campaign devoid of any violence as Kenya heads to the polls on 9th August, led by their chairperson in Samburu County, Bishop David Lebarleye. The leaders urged the government to deal decisively with a section of aspirants eyeing different positions whose agenda is to cause mayhem during the campaigns. At the same time, they called on the government to help in supplying food to hunger-stricken residents in the northeastern region who have been affected by the prolonged drought.
A lot of campaigns around, and we have resolved that we will have to talk with our people, our Christians, and the public in general to ensure that they maintain unity and that the political class and the political players should conduct themselves in a way that respect the values of our nation, our county, and in our community. We expect everybody to seek votes peacefully without interfering at the peace and the harmony.
And now, still on matters of politics, on matters the gubernatorial race of Nairobi County, we shall be crossing over, and let's listen in.
Timu atashinda hii kiti asubuhi na tunataka chama ya ODM ihakikishe ya kwamba amepewa hii nafasi ya Nairobi, na kuna haki ya kuuliza kwa nguvu. Don't shy off. Hii ni haki yenu, hii ni haki yetu kama jamii ya Mlembe Nation. Asante sana.
Sisi kama wanaweza
tunaenda tiketi saa hii.
Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Amen. Nione mkono juu. God is good all the time. And all the time God is good. Yangu ni fupi sana. Jambo la kwanza, mimi naitwa Andabwa Isaac. Na mimi nasimama kiti ya ubunge Lugari kwa chama ya DAP. Namba 2, tumekuwa mstari wa mbele Nairobi hapa kusupport Dr. Kidero kama gavana. Ukweli ama urongo? Mimi nimekuwa mstari wa mbele tukasupport Songo. Ukweli ama ni urongo? Kwa hivyo nataka ni support ile Mheshimiwa Kisi amesema. Yes. Mambo ya governor Nairobi, it is not negotiable. Yes. Muluya hajaweka makaratasi ya president, ndio? Yes. Tumesema tunasupport nani? Baba, si ndio kweli? Yes. Wengine wanapika mayowe, si ndio? Kabisa. Kwa mambo ya debit. Mmeona Muluya huko? So hapa ndio sisi tuko Muluya wote. Wale wako serikali, CS na wengine, si ndio? Hatujui yale ya mbele. Lakini sisi Waluya wote mvua yetu kujikinga ni wapi? Si mambo ya ODM, si mambo ya mambo ingine. Interest ya nani? Ya Waluya. Mungu awabariki sana.
Where is, okay. Ladies, yeah. Ladies.
Bwana Yesu. Bwana Ayonge. Mama na mama. Mama for the mama. Hello.
Songa nyuma.
Hello. Habari zenu? Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Siku ya leo tuko hapa kama wamama wa Mlembe Nation, si ndio?
Well, that is a section of leaders calling on Azimio to throw their support for Tim Wanyonyi, who aims to vie for the gubernatorial race here in Nairobi. And now we shall be crossing over, as earlier promised, to Aden, whereby the United Democratic Alliance is conducting party primaries for Roysambu constituency and the 19 wards in Nairobi. Now, Aden, kindly bring us to speed.
Thank you very much, Wambiru. We are now at Eastleigh North, in the Kamakunji constituency. This morning, residents of Istare and Kamakunji flocked to the several police stations to vote for the MCA candidate. Right now, we are in Eastleigh North, where you can see from my background that several voters now, they are queuing there to vote for their leaders of their choice. At Eastleigh, at Kamakunji constituency, in this Eastleigh North, 5 MCAs are in the race in a UDA ticket. Now we are joined by one of the voters who is here now. Tell us, how is the election?
My name is Ahmad Hassan Abdi, nickname Barros. I am a voter of Eastleigh High. Also, I voted. I thank the UDA presidential candidate, what he did. We are peaceful, and we know what happened last time. An aspirant from UDA, an MP, he came with a passes from Kamaiko. We know what he did.
How is the election today?
Today we have a peaceful and we are good. What happened is this: there is no any line, and that MP is not around.
What do you expect? What do you expect? Now we have voted. What do you expect?
Well, I expect the area MCA was elected and peaceful, and we thank the UDA presidential candidate William Ruto, what he did and what action he did. What we want for him, we want our MP UDA as Aden.
How is the election today?
Election is a peaceful. There is a security in half everywhere. Of Eastleigh North, we have 3 police stations: St. Teresa's, New Eastleigh Primary, and we are now Eastleigh High. We thank God, we thank UDA members, and we celebrate later.
Thank you very much. That is one of the voters in Eastleigh North. This morning we are at Moy Avenue at Istare constituency, and now we are in Eastleigh North where voters are voting here. And for today we have seen several police officers have been deployed. In the morning we have seen there was some cars around, somewhere around, people are moving up and down. But for now we have seen people are peacefully voting. Look at my back where you see voters are still voting. Back to the studio, Wambiru.
And that was our reporter Aiden giving us an update on the UDA nominations that are currently underway in Roysambu constituency and the 19 wards in Nairobi. Now we shall be crossing over to Narok County, whereby the Orange Democratic Movement is conducting its party primaries in Narok County in the ongoing primaries. And remember that ODM adopted the use of electronic voting, and now let's listen in.
That is by the party, after, of course, due consideration. And we have places that are going for elections, like, for example, we have got Narok North constituency. We also have Kilgoris, so I understand they are trying to come to an amicable settlement or a consensus. We have got Narok Town Ward, we have got Kilgoris Central Ward, and several others. But most have agreed, most candidates have agreed on consensus. And I think it's a very encouraging thing, because we really need to be together and to be united while facing the opposition, which is actually UDA. The good thing about the elections, ODM elections, is that we do not have ballot papers, which are prone to misuse, which are actually used for rigging. We actually we are using technology, modern technology. Voter will come, they verify whether he's a member, and then he'll just, kind of point out, or he himself kind of pick the person that he wants, and automatically that one is registered as a vote. And so there is no room for manipulation or rigging. So we are okay as ODM, and I think for the Narok people, they know the kind of leaders they want. We are a very straightforward community, and we normally believe in leadership, and we know who the real leaders are, we know who the con men are, and that is it. So we are okay, and we are going to do it peacefully. We don't want the fiascos that, the kind of fiascos that we saw in the elections in Uda, which has been the worst in the history of this country. So I think we are okay.
Now, after the nominations...
Yes. After each party has actually decided who their candidates are, we'll also come together now as Narok Azimio family. We'll try to reach a further consensus, so that where possible we actually field one candidate for Azimio coalition. So there is that still. There will be more talking before the time that, before the deadline set by the IBC. So we'll still do that, because all we want is to get the best candidate for Azimio and for this country and for our county. That's what we want.
So we're not likely to see sister parties competing?
It is not the end. Where we see that there is need for competition, or where we cannot reach consensus because it is a democratic party, then we let the people go from whichever party. But we'll try as much as possible to minimize the friction by actually reaching a consensus in each and every position. Such that if ODM is strong in a place like maybe Narok Town or elsewhere, then we actually talk to these people and tell them this is the party that is strong. This is the candidate who is strong. If you believe that is strong in a particular ward, then we'll agree to fill that candidate. That's what we intend to do as Narok.
My final question. Your influence in North area cannot be underrated. Now we are going to the nominations.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite candidate?
One thing is I like the way you said it, that you cannot take me for granted Narok North. People should remember that actually the people elected me, and I took offer from the mama. I actually removed him, but we became very good friends thereafter. So for somebody to remove the mama, that person is actually supported by the community. I've been an MP for 10 years. The Maasai people came and said, leave that position. Now we want to be our governor. And they came and actually kind of anointed me as the governor for Narok. I have no favorite candidate, because as a community we have suffered a lot because of bad leadership. Now we want to get the best leaders, and it doesn't matter where they come from, as long as they are not from Uda. So I have no favorite. Whoever the people will bring, we'll work with them.
Well, that is Narok North Member of Parliament Moitalel Olekenta highlighting issues regarding the Orange Democratic Movement party primaries that are happening in both Narok and Kajiado counties. And remember that in this ongoing primaries, ODM has adopted the use of electronic voting. We shall now be crossing over to Busia, whereby a family in Bumwaya Village, Butula constituency, is seeking justice for the Akin 27-year-old Senida War, who went missing only to be found sexually assaulted, murdered and body dumped in Rivasio. Elsewhere, another family in Museno Village, Ikolomani, Kakamega County, is also crying for justice after their daughter, who is expected to join Form 1 few days from now, was allegedly raped and impregnated by a police officer.
The 7-year-old Snyder Awor was reported missing on the 8th of April. Days later, DCI police officers found her body dumped in Rivasio, Matayos constituency.
Nikapigiwa simu ati amepotea, nikashtuka. Amepotea jana, nilikuwa na yeye juzi, nikamwambia amepotea, ndo jana nikapigiwa simu ati alikufa na alipatikana Busia mochari.
Until her death, Snyder Awuor was a pupil at St. Catherine's Special School for the Mentally Challenged. Her body has been taken to the Busia County mortuary pending investigations.
Tulionyeshwa kwanza manguo, tuone kama ni nguo zake, tukafahamu, tukajua kweli hizo ni nguo zake. Tukafunguliwa mlango kuona wafu, tukampata, lakini ile hali ambayo tulimpata haikutufurahisha.
She was allegedly sexually assaulted before she was murdered.
Kulingana na kifo chake venye walielezea, hakukufa kwa njia mzuri. Kwa ni kama alirepiwa na watu walimtumia sana. Tungeomba idara ya upelelezi ifanye uchunguzi, haki ipatikane.
Elsewhere in Kakamega County, a family from Museno village, Ikolomani, is crying for justice after their daughter, who sat for the 2021 KCPE and is expected to join Form 1, was allegedly raped and impregnated by a police officer.
Juzi niliona mtoto, mwili yake si mzuri. Nilimuuliza kusema kitu. Alafu nilipeleka wapi? Hospitali. Tulipata mtoto yuko na mimba.
Nilishangaa sana. Mtoto yangu mwenye alikuwa anafanya class 8 amepata mimba na nitakana aende Form 1. Na nikatoka huko, nikakuja hapa, nikaambia madhe, uliza mtoto nani alimpea mimba. Na mtoto akasema alikuwa askari wa Ikolomani, anaitwa Victor.
The family of the girl, who is now 2 months pregnant, says police have told them to wait until she gives birth to determine the father of the child.
Tunataka tuone serikali ikichukulia haya maneno umuhimu na sheria ichukue mkondo wake, tuone huyu askari akichukuliwa hatua haraka.
For Lunchtime News, Amnesty Imano Okoth.
And now we cross over to Kajiado County, where the Orange Democratic Movement Party is conducting its party primaries. And remember that in the Kajiado County race, this has attracted individuals including former Governor David Nkedianye and incumbent Joseph Olelenku, who is defending his seat. Now we link up with our reporter Zainab Said for more details. Zainab.
Yes, Wambiru, we are here in Bulbul Primary School in Kajiado North, in Kajiado County, where ODM are conducting their primaries. Remember, only Kajiado North and Kajiado East are the ones who are conducting the ODM primaries. The other constituencies had agreed on a consensus way. We've been here following the exercise. Some of the stations we followed, the numbers are not so big, but they the Kenyans keep coming in to vote, to exercise their right. We've been have reports of the stations being opened late because of miscommunication between the party and the institutions. Those are the primary schools. But however, in most stations or in most primary schools, the exercise started at 9 a.m. We're expecting them to close at 5. So I'll just interview one of the aspirants who has already voted and is here just to express his views on how the exercise has been. Karibu sana. Thank you so much for agreeing to speak to KBC.
Asante.
Your name?
Asante.
Na utuambie unawania kiti gani?
Kwa majina yangu ni Eligor na ninawania kiti cha udiwani ama MCA Ololo Ward ndani ya Kajiado North. Ndio.
Kumekuwa na taarifa kwamba vituo vilifunguliwa kuchelewa kutokana na kutokuwepo mawasiliano mema kati ya chama na institutions ama taasisi ambazo ni shule. Je, hili mnalichukuliaje kama mwaniaji?
Well, kumekuwa na vituo vimefunguliwa imechelewa kidogo, ila kawaida pia tunajua wapiga kura pia sio sana huwa wanakuja kwa mapema ikifika wakati wa mchujo kama wakati huu. Kwa hivyo haije athiri sana, manake nikiangalia flow ingewaji iko chini, lakini tunasonga mbele. Ndio.
Pia kumekuwa na taarifa kwamba majina ya wapiga kura hayaendi, manake mfumo huu unafanya kidijitali. Kuna wale ambao wanasema kwamba nambari zao za vitambulisho hazipatikani kwenye mashine zile na kwa hivyo hawezi kupiga kura. Je, hili linawapa tashwishi yote kwamba huenda likaathiri kwa njia moja?
Unajua hii process ambayo inatumika hapa sio ile ya IBC kwamba kila mtu mpiga kura yoyote yuko ndani. Kulingana na chama ilikuwa ni wale ambao tu wamejisajili kama wafuasi wa chama cha ODM ndio walikuwa wanaruhusiwa kupiga. So ile kidogo unapata watu wanakuja na wakienda wapate majina zao ni kulingana na wale ambao walipokuwa majina zao ziko pale na wale wako wamejisajili. Wakati tulikuwa tunafanya hii process sio kila mtu alikuwa anakubali kulingana na vyama tofauti na kulikuwa na rumors kadha wa kadha kwamba ukiwa kwa ODM pengine huwezi ukapiga kura wakati fulani ama huwezi ukapigia mtu fulani kwa mchujo maybe UDA ama chama ingine yoyote ya pale. So kwa hiyo ilifanya watu wakaweza kuogopa kidogo kujisajili kama memba. Basi wale ambao walijisajili kwa kweli ninaona wanapiga kura na wanaenda nyumbani wakiwa wamefurahia. Ndio.
Na Bwana Eli, ni Kajiado North na East pekee ambao wanaendelesha zoezi hile. Constituencies zingine ama maeneo bunge mengine yaliamua kuenda ile makubaliano. Pengine wewe kati ya mifumo hii miwili unaona ni ipi ambayo ni bora sana zaidi kwako wewe kama mwaniaji?
Ile masikizano ni bora zaidi kwa sababu ina reduce fallout. Lakini pia tukikuja hapa unapata tunapatia fursa wale wapinzani kuingilia kati na kuvuruga shughuli ya kupiga kura ya mchujo. Kwangu mimi ningeulizwa hiyo ya kuzungumza inakuwa ni bora zaidi. Inafanya watu wanabaki kwa chama na chama inaweza kujijenga. Yes.
Sasa una matumaini ya kushinda?
Mimi nasema watu wa Ololo wote tukutane tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 inshallah Mungu akipenda.
Kila laheri.
Asante.
Yes, Jackie, it's the one of the aspirants for the MCA in Ololo Ward, Bana Eli Ogor. Remember, it's the position that has attracted 4 aspirants, 2 women and 4 men. And for the MP, also has seen 4 aspirants. All of them are men. The incumbent is not one of the ones who are vying for the ticket via ODM. So we'll be here following the exercise and we'll sure be update our viewers on how the exercise will be ongoing. Thank you. Back to you in studio, Jackie.
Zainab Said for that update. Bring us an update on the ODM party primaries which are ongoing in Kajiado North and Kajiado East, while the other 4 MP seats have been, or rather will be, decided through a consensus. Remember, this comes even as ODM party will hold its party primaries in Nairobi Thursday. Now, we shall be taking a short break. Don't go too far. We still have more news coming up.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
A true love in which family will be the main hardship to achieve happiness.
Well, I understand it, Mom, but I don't want to break up with Adrian.
Paulina will have to confront her own father. And Adrian will suffer due to his sister Julieta's obsession.
No! Not with her! No! Not with her! No!
Paulina is the woman I truly love!
No.
But regardless of jealousy and intrigue,
Karen, open the door, please!
They will fight for their love until the end.
The legendary run to Olympia Stadion in Berlin is now less crowded, with only 4 teams out of 64 still in contention. Something more outstanding is that all of the sides to have won the DFB Pokal over the last 29 years are already out this year.
And Leverkusen are knocked out by a Bundesliga 2 side.
In the first DFB Pokal semi-final, Hamburger SV will face Freiburg on Tuesday, the 19th of April 2022 at 9:45 p.m. While in the second semi-final, RB Leipzig will lock horns with Union Berlin on Wednesday, the 20th April 2022 at 9:45 p.m. Having braced the turbulent journey and buoyed up with the trophy inside, no team want to go down without a fight. You don't want to miss this adventurous football show, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
And welcome back. Now, still in the political arena, a section of Pamoja Africa Alliance party members in Kilifi County want the party's nomination exercise conducted. The aggrieved party members took to the streets in protest of the party's move to have the National Elections Board conduct interviews among aspirants and made public announcements that were not positively received by party members.
Political row is brewing at the Pamoja African Alliance Party Kilifi chapter. A section of politicians in the region want the party to resort to party nominations as opposed to appointments by the National Elections Board after vigorous interviews by the board.
Tumeafikiana kuwa kama kutakuwa na mchujo, na hiyo ni lazima ukue. Manake hao wote wametumia rasilimali zao, wametumia wakati wao, na wameuza chama kila mahali kufikia hapa penye imefika. Na kama tutaenda kwa mchujo, tutumie njia ya universal suffrage, ambayo kila mwananchi apatiwe ruhusa ya kuchagua kiongozi wake.
The party is said to have halted its nomination exercises in the region after alleged election irregularities were reported at given polling stations.
Usiweke wiki candidates pale uka expect kwamba utapata matokeo mazuri, na bunge lako kama hutakuwa na MCA wa kutosha ama wabunge wa kutosha, wamama wa kutosha katika chama chako, je, utakuwa na sauti?
Residents of Kilgoris constituency took to the street to protest a move by the United Democratic Alliance Party to postpone nominations. The locals were angered by the move by the party top organs to cancel the primaries despite waking up early and attending to polling stations to exercise their democratic rights, only to find the exercise was not taking place.
President wetu wa UDA alitueleza election ya UDA itakuwa fair. Itakuwa free and fair. Tulikuja kuambiwa nomination ilikuwa ingekuwa tarehe 14, lakini haikufanyika. Mpaka wa leo bado hatujasikia nomination ya Kilgoris constituency.
The demonstrations were witnessed in Enosian, Angata, Barikoi, Kilgoris town and Esoit areas within the constituency. Meanwhile, NAK Kenya party leader Martha Karua was in Laikipia County to drum support for the Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate Raila Odinga. Karua, who was officiating the launch of Laikipia's Gitonga Kaburu gubernatorial bid, asked Kenyans to give each and every person an opportunity to exercise their democratic right in the August 9th elections.
Kama mtu hajawahi kupigania Mkenya hata siku moja, kama mtu hana hiyo rekodi, hata akikuahidi nini, ujue kesho anaweza kukugeuka.
According to Karua, Raila Odinga is best suited to unite and lead the country. Elsewhere, Kisii woman representative Janet Ongera has lauded ODM party leader for issuing direct nominations to a section of women leaders in the country. According to Ongera, women are equally fit for elective posts and should not be underrated on the country's development agenda.
I may restore our confidence, kuonyesha kwa chama kama wewe uko loyal, uko na fidelity na uko trustworthy. he will reward you. Na hiyo tunamwambia asante sana Mheshimiwa Raila.
Irene Mchuma Odim, The Lunchtime News.
At least one person was arrested and crude weapons recovered as ODM party concluded its primaries in KESSHA County. In a largely peaceful activity, Tom Ojenda will fly the ODM flag in the senatorial contest, while Raila Odinga's younger sister Ruth Odinga will fly the party ticket in the women representative contest. Ochola Simon with the details.
The only results that the election board of ODM recognizes for these primaries are the results that will be displayed by the gadgets here. It was an electronic process, and so the results will be electronic.
After a day long of a largely peaceful nomination process, Professor Tom Ojenda will fly the ODM ticket as senatorial candidate after beating his closest competitor, nominated Senator Rose Nyamunga. Ojenda managed to garner 39,386 votes against Rose Nyamunga's 18,319. Ruth Odinga, the younger sister to Raila Odinga, will fly the party's flag in the women rep contest after she emerged the winner in a flooded field. Ruth managed 23,665 against her nearest competitor, Rose Kisia, who managed 13,999. James Onyango Koyo and Aduma War retained their MP's party ticket in Moroni and Nyakach constituencies respectively, and will now join Nyando's Jared Okello and Seme's Dr. James Nikal, who all got direct tickets. Vocal and controversial Kisumu Central MP Fred Ouda was floored by philanthropist James Oron. Oron got 6,842 votes against Ouda's 5,342. Nicholas Ondiambo Oricho will fight the party's ticket in Kisumu East. Achola Simon, Lunchtime News, Kisumu County.
In other news, President Uhuru Kenyatta has warned leaders to stop whining over problems citizens are facing and to provide solutions. Speaking in Mombasa when he officially opened the Kenya Secondary School Heads Association annual conference, the president said it was hypocritical for leaders elected and mandated for interest of citizens to turn around and lament at every forum about the same problems. The head of state urged head teachers to strive and mold future leaders who can offer solutions and take the country forward.
Responsibility to help our children eke out what is best in them, because God has given each and every one of us a gift. And you teachers are privileged to be the ones who are supposed to pull that gift out of that child and to make him use that gift to benefit himself, to grow society, to develop his country, to develop his continent, and to be proud of himself as a citizen of the Republic for the service that he delivers, whatever that service may be. Sini namna hiyo wenzangu. Sasa jameni, msiseme mimi nimewasaidia, mwaandika walimu, mshahara niliongeza, jameni mko na insurance. Pigeni kelele kwa wale ambao watakuja, lakini mimi mnipigie makofi kwa yale nimefanya. Ama ni namna gani jameni? Ama ni namna gani? Tumeset msingi, wengine wajenge. Lakini shida ya Kenya hii, na ndio naambia mfundishe watoto. Shida ya siku hizi Kenya hii, kiongozi anajua ku-identify problem lakini hana suluhu yake. So akiona kwa gazeti leo, unamuona kwa press conference, bei ya mahindi, bei ya mafuta. Sasa jameni, unatafuta uongozi, si kwanza utengeneze ile ambao uko naye. Unaenda kupiga nduru, unapiga nduru, why do you want to be a leader? Si uachie basi wale wanataka kufanya kazi waendelee. Ama ni namna gani? Msiniletee bana. This country needs problem solvers, not problem talkers. Kuongea unaongea pale kwa soko, unalia. Sasa mwananchi anakuangalia anasema, sasa unataka mimi nifanye namna gani? Unataka mimi nifanye namna gani? We need people who are willing and committed to providing solutions, because problems will never end.
Residents of Kiminini area of Trans Nzoia County now want the government to assure them of their kin's safety while working in the Middle East. Speaking during the burial of Stella Nafula, who died in Saudi Arabia, allegedly in the hands of her employer, the mourners urged the government to put in place measures to cushion its citizens working abroad.
In Kiminini, Trans Nzoia County, Stella Nafula was laid to rest at her home in Hilario area. The late Stella was working as a domestic worker in Saudi Arabia. She left the country on August 2021 to Saudi Arabia, claiming she had been connected to a job opportunity by a friend working in Qatar.
Munasema ya kwamba huyu msichana alipata passport in the shortest time possible. Kumaanisha kuna ukora fulani inafanywa, hata vitu vingine inafanywa nyuma ya macho ya serikali. Kama kuna kazi ngambo, watoto wetu wafate the right procedure na tujue employer ni nani.
The family says a medical report from Saketa Hospital in Saudi Arabia showed their kin succumbed to cardiac pulmonary arrest.
Tunataka serikali ya Kenya kuanzia leo wadikile watoto ambao wako Saudia warudishwe mara moja.
Wazazi, tafadhali, wacha tukae tu nyumbani na watoto wetu, hata kama tutaenda kibarua tukipata 100 na tukule na tukae tu tukiwa wazima.
The residents are now calling upon the Kenyan government to stop clearing Kenyans who want to go to Saudi Arabia, terming the country unsafe for Kenyans. Jacqueline Masharia for Lunchtime News.
And now on news-making headlines in the business world, reform is underway at the National Oil Corporation of Kenya to give the state oil entity more influence in the local upstream business. This will see the part of the reform. This will see NOC being granted a tender to ship in 30% of Kenya's monthly fuel imports. Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i says the planned turnaround at the state-owned petroleum company is meant to reduce fuel dependency on independent oil marketers.
Corruption, competition and mismanagement have reduced the National Oil Corporation of Kenya to a shell, struggling with mounting debts running into billions of shillings. NOC is currently battling a liquidation battle with a local lender. The corporation, which used to control more than 20% of the local oil business, has seen this drop to the current 9%. Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i says the proposed law aims at giving NOC exclusive rights to import a third of all fuel products into the country.
If we had a vibrant and effective working National Oil Corporation, they would be supplying fuel and selling fuel at a lower price, and the cartels will not be able to exact the impact that they were exacting on us, to the extent that as government we have to resort to tough action to bring them to line. But what happened to the organization? It was looted clean. Because of corruption, it died. We have to address this issue, and it's got to be an issue Kenyans must focus on in this election.
So far, the Ministry of Petroleum has published the Draft Petroleum Importation Quota Allocations Regulations 2022 in the Kenya Gazette for public comments. NOC Chief Executive has in the past said corporation is in talks with the National Treasury for 13.5 billion shillings to pay bank loans and meet operation costs.
The conversations we are having about poverty are fine, but we are not going to fight it and deal with it if we don't address the corruption in this country. Those of us in the public sector need to be very honest and candid and tell you the challenges we faced over the years.
The agency was formed in the 1970s to tackle fuel shortages during the oil crisis of 1970. Matiang'i says corruption and oil hoarding by oil marketers are to blame for the current fuel shortage gripping the country. Irene Mchuma Odim, The Lunchtime News.
Moving on, Kenya is targeting to rake in 1 trillion shillings by exporting a skilled labor force to the regional markets. This will be done through the National Productivity Center and the National Industrial Training Centers. Labour Ministry Cabinet Secretary Simon Chelugui says the government plans to take advantage of the shortage of ICT skills in the region, which is expected to expand with the admission of the Democratic Republic of Congo into the East African community.
According to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, the East African community faces significant labor shortages in information technology, engineering, finance, hospitality, and management. This has fueled the migration of professionals from the region, with Kenya becoming a major supplier of skilled labor in the region. According to the UNCTAD report, Kenya is a major exporter of skilled labor to Rwanda, Tanzania, South Sudan, and Burundi. Labour Cabinet Secretary Simon Chelugui says Kenya is targeting to tap the Democratic Republic of Congo as a major destination for skilled labourers.
Skills gaps across the world so that we can encourage our training institution, encourage our young people to focus on those skills gaps.
The admission of DR Congo makes EAC the largest business bloc in Africa. The Labour CS further says Kenya will take advantage of the latest business development to showcase its talents and harness the gains.
We need to share skills and training across our region. We need to begin to look at our region as one. We need to break barriers, boundaries, and create one harmonious community.
Chelugui says regional leaders are keen to break trade barriers within the bloc, which still poses a major integration threat to the region. The Ministry of Labour is in the process of updating its skilled labour register in an effort to upgrade its human resource development policies and strategies. Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, however, says implementing the skilled labour register lies in the ability to measure progress to respond to data needs.
We really need to domesticate what we are getting at the international level so that we are well covered. Anything that is new in the industry, we are able to bring it on board.
Hibak Said for Lunchtime News.
And now in the sports arena, Confederation of African Football (CAF) has included Kenya and Zimbabwe in the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier matches despite being banned indefinitely from international soccer by World Soccer Governing Body FIFA. Kenya has been grouped alongside East African neighbors Burundi, Namibia and Cameroon in the qualifiers. CAF hopes Kenya and Zimbabwe will be cleared in time by FIFA to participate in the qualifiers set to start in June. Should Kenya or Zimbabwe fail to have their suspensions lifted, the group they are placed in will shrink from 4 nations to 3, with the top 2 finishers still qualifying for the finals. FIFA suspended Kenya from international soccer after the government disbanded Football Kenya Federation due to misappropriation of funds. Well, that brings us to the end of our bulletin this afternoon. Thank you for choosing Lunchtime News. For more news, check out our website at kbc.co.ke. Our sign language interpreter is Lensa Odingo. My name is Jackie Mbiru. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Much about your son. He's so timid. He wouldn't do anything desperate.
What are you trying to say, huh? Stop playing the sad card in front of me. What you did is unforgivable. You didn't even get half of what you deserve.
I heard it with my own ears. The woman who looks like Pinky was calling Mrs. Gao Mom.
Ah, come on. You must have gotten it wrong. That's impossible.
What I lost was more than my daughter and a piece of land. It's also my 30 years of life.